Is it possible to do a limited budget food challenge of £10 for 5 days, which will equate to 15 meals in 2025? Got increased prices in food, we've got inflation on the rise. I've been watching some of these challenges from previous years and I've decided to set myself a little challenge, attempting the £10 for 5 days, meeting a threshold of 2,500 calories and a minimum of 50 grams of protein. So I think first things first, let's go to Asda's. I'm going to go after work tonight. Let's pick up some ingredients, make sure it's within the £10 budget, and then we'll get home, make a plan, set some constraints and some rules, and hopefully try and stick to a reasonably nutritious, healthy, balanced diet within the £10. Or it could be a fail, and you'll see that over the course of this week. Let's take a closer look at what we managed to pick up for our £10. So the first item we picked up was a can of baked beans over the chopped tomatoes, because they are higher in calories and then they are also higher in protein. The 6 large free-range eggs, as opposed to the cage ones that just did not sit right with me, trying to save 50p in order to buy caged hen eggs. A pack of 7 bananas, 20 frozen sausages. These are not the best quality sausages. A tin of sardines in spicy tomato sauce. I like the idea of having a bit of spice in this sauce. So high in protein, high in omega-3s. 1 loaf of wholemeal sliced bread. 20 slices in here. I went for wholemeal over white bread, just for the added fibre. 2 packs of golden vegetables savoury rice. So these contain some peas, some carrots, onions and some flavouring. Porridge oats. So you get 1 kilogram of porridge oats. I'm going to try and use these for savoury and non-savoury. 1 pack of onions, I just split the bag. But 1 kilogram of onions. I think onions are a great source of calories as well as flavour. Because I tried to make an even mix of processed and non-processed foods, I picked up a bag of carrots. So this was 40p for 500 grams of carrots. Jar of strawberry jam. Again, this is the very cheapest brand you can get in Asda's, and it is incredibly high in sugars, which is actually the reason why I bought it, because of the sugar and the sweetness. So some low-fat natural yogurt with live bacteria cultures. I'm actually really glad I picked this up because I've got a few ideas I can use this with, and it's not just to make yogurt with jam, which is definitely something I've considered already as an easy option. The last minute purchase, which to be honest I'm already regretting, is a packet of ramen noodles. I had a few pence left, got the receipt to share with you in a minute, but we had like 20p left and I could have bought some tin peas like that, but in the end I just quickly picked up the instant noodles, and there's not really much to these noodles. They're just going to be calories basically, but I'm sure we're going to find something to do with them. That's the whole point of this challenge, a bit of fun, a bit of food experimentation, and then just log in what we can eat over the 5 days. So let's have a look at all this on the table and then have a quick chat. And then there's the proof of the receipt with all the items listed, coming in at £9.89. So there's the food haul. That's what we got to work with for the next 5 days. Initial impressions, everything's a bit yellow. The Just Essentials brand or range from Asda's is designed as a cheap alternative to some of the other brands. I did rely heavily on the Just Essentials to make the £10 stretch. I did have a rough idea of what I wanted to get going into this. I did want to work with porridge for this first attempt. I just know that it's high in calories and protein and will make life a little bit easier. So the next step is to plan out and consider some of the meals for the week. It may change as I go through, but the initial day, so tomorrow, so we're going to start this on a Monday morning. We're going to go through from Monday to Friday, go for porridge with some jam for an easy start on Monday morning. I'm going to pre-prep tonight lunch, and I'm actually going to go ahead and pre-prep dinner as well, because I'm going to make a soup. So there's a couple of self-imposed restrictions and constraints. The first one is we can have unlimited water and salt and pepper for seasoning and cooking, and also I can have access to stuff in the cupboards such as stock cubes, cooking oil, margarine, butter. I'm going to limit that, so I'm not going to go mad. I'm not going to put an exact amount on it, but I'm just going to, if I use a stock cube, I'm going to try and avoid using something else. So those are the constraints I'm going to put on it. Another factor with regards to this is that it's going to be done during Monday to Friday when I work a lot of hours. So I'm going to have to do breakfast in the morning, prep lunch every day for at work, and then come home and have the evening meal. So I'm going to log that each day: breakfast, lunch, dinner, share a few things I'm cooking up and how we do it. So that's the main thing. And then the other thing to add is this is just a fun challenge. It's just going to be me doing it, not my wife or 2 kids. So it's going to be a solo challenge. I will be cooking and preparing food for everyone else during the week. You may see other bits of food around, but I will stick rigidly to this because there's no point in doing the challenge unless I stick to the rules. Coffee's going to be allowed. I need caffeine to get through work and stuff like that. So coffee and unlimited water I won't be drinking alcohol, I won't be having snacks and anything which isn't within the £10 budget for the whole of this week. That said, let's have a look at day one. Giving some thought to day one's recipes and ingredients, and the first thing I've decided to do, just to make life a little bit easier, is divide out some of the bulkier items so I can make sure that I'm distributing the calories and the protein as much as possible. For the majority of days here, we're going to have 2 onions allocated for each of the 5 days, probably the bigger ones for the 2 days, and we're going to have 3 onions tomorrow, which is day 1, because so Monday's my busiest day and I get back later from work. So I'm going to make a soup for the evening meal. I'm going to have a sandwich for lunchtime, and I'm going to do porridge with some jam for breakfast. It's an easy start to the week. I'm allowed to have something from the cupboard, and I mentioned stock cube, so I'm going to use a vegetable stock cube. That's going to be for the soup. Allocation wise, we've got 2 carrots for each day. I'm going to go for the biggest carrots for this soup, so let's move them to the side. 20 pack of sausages over 5 days gives us 4 sausages per day. I've defrosted Monday's and Tuesday's sausages from the freezer. I'm going to use 2 sausages for the soup and 2 sausages to make a sandwich for work. I'm going to add a tiny amount of this golden rice to the soup. Just because I think it might add a little bit of extra flavour and texture. And I plan on having this vegetable soup, all as basic as it is, for dinner tomorrow with some bread, because I've got a lot of bread. Again, we've got 4 slices of bread per day out of the 20 slices in the loaf. I'm going to use 2 of the slices to try and make some croutons tomorrow evening when I get back, when the soup's been in the slow cooker. So let's prep the soup up. That'll be something we can get done now, and then cook off some of the sausages to make the sandwich, because that can be prepped and ready to take to work tomorrow. And in the morning I'll get up and I'll make some porridge using water, because we don't have milk, and the jam. Stashed all of my ingredients in one cupboard so that they don't get utilised by other family members. I just realised that tomorrow we have a banana, so I'm going to save. So I'm going to have a banana with my lunch tomorrow. That will beef out my lunchtime sandwich with some extra energy. And I'm going to do egg. So I've got 6 eggs. I wanted to use 1 with some ramen, and then we got 1 per day. So I am going to need to use an egg tomorrow as well. One of the days I'm going to do egg and beans on toast with some sausages for a main dinner possibly, so that doesn't need to be used out. The porridge is going to be used tomorrow, the bread, the jam. I'm glad I opened that cupboard and thought about that. So we've got the bananas. I'm going to try and make some flapjacks during the week as well, so the extra banana might be utilised for that. Okay, right, let's get on and get the soup done while I think about the rest. I don't know why I got that egg out like that. I know I need to use an egg tomorrow, but that's just asking for trouble. Put it back in the tub. You might hear some background noise because it's Sunday, and while I'm prepping for Monday to make life easier, also cooking a roast lamb for Sunday roast. So I'm just going to peel some carrots. This was one of the limited food budgets I'm planning on doing in the future, where we have even less money to spend on ingredients. I'd actually save the trimmings here to make a stock, but because I've got, in this particular challenge, I've got access to a stock cube and I've got quite a lot of stuff to use up with the £10 budget. I'm going to compost for the garden the trimmings, and then I'm going to slice these carrots into small pieces. Probably about that size. So probably going to go for about that size on the carrots. And that's the rest of the 2 carrots, and go straight into the slow cooker. I'm going to add half the pack of this rice just to make it more substantial, because it says on there per half pack you're looking at 203 calories, and then you do get a bit of protein, so you get 4.7 grams of protein, so some extra protein. But more importantly, as you can see, maybe I can zoom in on that a little bit better, we've now added some peas to the mix as well, and we've got some rice, and we've got some extra flavouring from the savoury rice mix. And then we're going to add 1 Knoll stock cube. And now, because onions are going to be quite a prominent flavour in this soup, it's generally advisable to saute them, brown them off first. Caramelisation of the onions just adds a depth of flavour. As with the carrot peelings, this is all going to go into the compost bin. Full amount of oil. So I just remembered I'm adding 2 sausages to the mix, and I'm not the biggest fan of boiled sausages. So what I think we'll do is we're going to slice these sausages in half. I'm going to leave the skin in it as well, because I'm not too fussed about the skin. But I'm going to cut them into pieces, and I think we'll brown them off and then chuck the onions in with the bits of sausage as well. Actually, that's not a good idea, is it? So I didn't think that through. It does need to come off the skin, because the skin is actually holding all the pieces together, and I want them to be loose. So that's a mistake. So I'm actually going to take the skin off the second one. That was a mistake. That did not dice up very well with the skin on. So we're going to remove the skin. Might actually do a few bigger pieces like that. And let's chuck in and caramelise the onions. And those sausage bits look quite good, crisped up a little bit. A couple more minutes, and then we can add that to the carrot and stock mix. And there we have the soup mix with the sausage, the onion, the veggie stock cube, and the carrots and some peas and rice. And there should be enough there to have some leftovers for lunch the next day. Eating 2 sausages for day 1. I'm going to stick them in the air fryer for 6 minutes. So tomorrow's lunch is going to be a boiled egg, a sausage sandwich, and a banana. So continuing the prep for tomorrow's lunch, I'm going to have 2 of the 4 allocated pieces of bread which we're having each day. I'm not going to use the end piece, because I think the end piece might crisp up better for croutons to go with the soup. So I've got 2 sausages which we did in the air fryer. I'm just going to slice them down the middle. So these are cheap sausages, we've discussed that already. So they're not the greatest of quality, and they don't have the greatest volume of pork in them. But if you do air fry them for if you don't overdo them in the air fryer, they still make a relatively decent sausage. Got no margarine. I'm not using margarine because I used a stock cube for the soup for day 1 and a small amount of oil for the sauteing of the onions. So I just don't think, even though I set the parameters of the challenge, just don't think it would be fair to use margarine or butter. But we did discuss using scavenged items, and this is what I have to work with over the 5 days. So I have got, I'm keeping them separate, some of them. I've got some milk, I've got some ketchup, some vinegar, some spicy sauces. You could play a game of guess where I got these. Some mayonnaise, and some rich tomato dip, some sweet curry, and actually thinking about it, Might use the rich tomato dip. So I'm going to make a ketchup sausage sandwich. So even though we've got no butter or margarine, the sauce is going to compensate for that. But we've got some sweetener and some sugar, which might be useful for making the flapjack. Make use of the rich tomato dip. And then the sausages. I think we'll have a quick taste of the sauce. Wow, that's really nice sauce. That is a lot sweeter and herbier, is that a word, than your standard ketchup. I'm actually really impressed with that. That's going to taste really nice tomorrow. And I'm going to cut my sandwich this way, which may trigger some people and say that they need to be triangles. But guys, look, 2 sausages each section, it works. Let's wrap that up and that'll be ready for lunch tomorrow in the van. The banana needs no prep to go with us for lunch tomorrow. The only other thing to get done in advance is to have a boiled egg. So I'm just going to leave that in there. And then I'll join you guys back here tomorrow morning, super early. Monday morning, it's 5:30 AM. I'm just getting up ready for work, so I need to keep my voice down a bit because everyone else is asleep. But I've got 150 grams of porridge. Then we're going to add water. Then boiling water to the porridge. Just going to let that soak for a few minutes. Personal preference, I like my porridge nice and thick. Then we're going to add some of the jam. So this morning I've just got a big old bowl of porridge with the jam. Probably put a bit too much jam in that because that's super sweet. I should have remembered that that jam is more sugar than strawberries, but this will definitely keep me going until lunchtime at about 12:30, 1 o'clock. And I've got a coffee as well because I need that. It's 5:30 in the morning and I need to get myself to work and stay awake all day. So I'm parked up and I'm having my lunch, and you can't really beat the view. In the background there you've got Brownsea Island. So for lunch I've got the sandwiches we made last night in preparation with the rich tomato sauce and the sausages. The sauce really helps add a bit of moisture to that sandwich, which would be pretty dry without margarine or butter on it. I also have my boiled egg, which is a bit misshapen now, but that's an extra source of protein and a quick and easy way of cooking an egg up to have for lunch. I didn't do a bad job of the boiling of the egg. So I'm going to save the banana for later on in the afternoon, just as a little bit of a snack to get me through till finishing time, which is probably going to be about 6 o'clock. So the soup looks really nice. Just got back from work, I'm really hungry and it looks really tasty. The rice has all come up, so it's actually got quite a lot to it. Time has got the better of me today, so I'm just going to do toast with the soup. There's enough soup here for me to have lunch, so that's one less thing to prep. And I think I'm going to have rice with some veg and sausages for tea tomorrow. It's been such a manic day, and it always is on a Monday because I work so many hours, that I think what we're going to do is have a zero prep day. It's going to be a small porridge in the morning with a banana, and then a egg on toast. And then for lunch we'll have the leftover soup, and then in the evening we'll have rice with sausage, and we'll do something with the veg. I might try and make like a coleslaw or something with the onions and the carrots. So yeah, an easy prep day for tomorrow where we just get it all done, and then tomorrow night when I've got more time on my hands, we do a proper prep for day 3. Gonna give some pepper to the soup. That definitely looks filling. I'm gonna give it a quick taste test for you guys, and then I'm gonna go and sit down and enjoy my dinner and check back in with you for breakfast tomorrow. Right, let's give this soup a taste test. I need a little bit of salt as well as the pepper we've just added. I'm using my spare tripod, hence the angle. Very strong onion vegetable broth flavour to it, with a bit of the sausage. The rice has made it a lot more substantial. And let's try a little bit of this. It's just plain toast because, again, although I could put margarine on it, because I used the stock cube today and a little bit of oil in the preparation of the soup, I think it's just going to be plain. I'm quite happy with plain anyway. Yeah, it's a really substantial soup. It's more like a stew with the sausage and the carrot and then the toast. Definitely enough soup to heat up tomorrow. One of the constraints of working in the van is trying to heat stuff up, but if I heat that up in the microwave in the morning, I can stick it in a thermos, and that's definitely going to be substantial enough to keep me going till dinner time, after I have egg on toast and porridge tomorrow morning. Day 2, and I'm going to have the egg on toast. I'm going to do a lot less porridge today because that was too much yesterday morning. Put a little bit of oil in the pan. Just remembered, I do have some sugar. I think I'll save the brown sugar for flapjacks. I won't use all of it, just a little bit to sweeten the porridge. So I've deliberately kept the yolk runny because I didn't put any margarine on the toast. But we've got egg on toast, porridge, a lot less than yesterday, with a little bit of sugar and bananas. And a coffee. That should definitely keep me going until I have my lunch, my soup for lunch. Feel a bit more alive this morning. Mondays are always the most difficult to get through. Let's try the banana and the porridge. It's much nicer because it's not so sweet. I really like egg on toast, so I'm really happy to have this for breakfast. With a runny yolk, you don't need margarine or anything on this. The salt and pepper has a lovely seasoning. I'll be honest, egg on toast is one of my favourite breakfasts. So far I'm really happy with the way things have gone. That soup yesterday was the highlight so far. I'm looking forward to that to lunch, and it kept me full all evening. I didn't feel like I needed to go pick at anything. I should have had some natural yoghurt for pudding, but to be honest I was so full from the soup I didn't want anything anyway. Let's see if having porridge and the egg loaded up breakfast means that the soup will be substantial enough to get us through till this evening. I'll check back in with you at lunchtime. Made it to 1 o'clock and I wouldn't even say I'm particularly hungry. Breakfast really sorted me out, but I know I've got a busy afternoon, so I'm gonna sit and have this soup. I'll share the view with you, but it's nowhere near on a level of yesterday. So I'm actually opposite a McDonald's. Not that there's any temptation to switch up and have McDonald's. I'm quite happy sticking to my little challenge. Almost forgot how much chunks there are in here. I'll try drinking it out of the little cup, but it's actually better to use a spoon. So I've been driving around and I've been thinking up other recipe possibilities. There's a couple I'm actually keen on for the evening meals. Tomorrow I think we're going to have ramen with egg for the main meal, use up the rice left over from this evening's meal. But then Thursday I'm looking at doing oats soup. We'll have a look at that. I quite like the idea of having another soup because this one works so well. So I think we're going to do an oat soup and then use some of the liquid from that to make the bases of a vegetable and sausage curry using natural yogurt. That's the plan. I keep changing everything. Every time I go get stuck into it, I keep changing my mind, but that's the way these little challenges are going to go, I think. So yeah, just going to finish this. This will be enough to see me through till this evening, and I'll meet you back at the kitchen for dinner. I'm going to chuck in 3 sausages for tonight's dinner and 3 for lunch tomorrow. Going to whack them in the air fryer, same as the other day, and go on for 6 minutes. So that's been brought up to the boil, and now we're just going to turn it down and let it simmer for 20. We're going to have today's carrots, two onions, and we're going to grate the onion. Actually, that's not going to work, is it? That was stupid. Didn't think that through. So I'm going to do thin slices of onion. Onion does not grate. So this is how I envisaged the onions would have grated. To the mix of onion and carrot, we're going to add some condiments. This is part of our scavenge stuff. Three lots of the mayonnaise sachets, but I'm not going to overdo it and stick as many as I can get hold of in there. So we're going to bulk out the sauce with 3 lots of yogurt. I'm going to add a bit of seasoning. I'm going to add a touch of chili flakes, some black pepper, and a little bit of turmeric. So I said 3 lots of sausages, but I just remembered I have to have 4, and I am trying to hit a minimum calorie amount. So I did budget 4 for each day, then half the rice pack. Put half the rice in for tomorrow's lunch. Onions and carrot. I might allow this to cool down and put the rest of that with it as well. I'm going to end up replicating lunch tomorrow as the same as today, so hopefully it tastes good. Day 2 dinner is 4 sausages, the savoury rice, and a coleslaw of onions and carrots. I need to wolf this down, and then I need to dash off and pick my daughter up from football. Come back, and then we're going to make some flapjacks for tomorrow. Try the rice with the coleslaw. Straight up delicious. That is unbelievable. That is really tasty. I'm really glad I've done that with the carrots and onions. That's such an easy way of making a couple of onions and some carrots work together, and they go really nice with the rice. This is quite an easy, simple meal. But I'm going to finish this up. It's really important I get the flapjacks done because I want them for tomorrow, and I want them for the next 2 days after that as well. So we're going to use a bulk of the oats up and just have a go at making some flapjacks. I'm going to use jam, quite a lot of jam, because this is going to last us for a few days. So I've used a big old allowance of jam. I'm going to thin it down a bit with some water. The product from the cupboard, I'm going to use some butter. Then I'm going to add sugar, because in traditional flapjacks you would just add sugar anyway. Mixing that all in together. I'm going to add in the oats. Turn the heat off. So I'll spread it out over a tray and then we're going to bake it for about 15 minutes. I think that's been in long enough. That's probably the best I'm going to get out of it. We'll leave it to cool down and we'll cut it up into portions. The freeze breakfast is flapjack. Plenty left for days 4 and 5. A coffee, a banana. I'm going to try the flapjack. It's not as crispy as I'd want it to be, but we were just using jam, a bit of water and some margarine. Still got a nice flavour, still tastes like a flapjack, just slightly on the soft side, but definitely worth doing. So I'm going to have this, check in at lunchtime. I'm going to quickly have my lunch. I've got the leftover rice and sausages, and the carrots and onions seem to have fermented a little bit. Fermented the right word? I don't know. But they've taken on a more of a turmeric colour. Actually smells a lot nicer. It smells stronger, to be honest. So far I haven't really struggled on this. I've not got the biggest sweet tooth, so I'm not really missing out on anything like chocolate or stuff like that. I am missing out on a rum and coke every night, but I think that's an issue I need to address at the end of this video. And those flapjacks were fantastic. They just kept me going. The time's 2 o'clock, so it's actually later for my lunch. I've only now just started thinking, oh, I need to eat something. Right, let's get the ramen with egg and that on the go because I'm getting hungry. We're going to boil the egg for 5 minutes. Okay, Google, set a timer, 5 minutes.
Alright, 5 minutes.
I'm going to slice up some onions, grate some carrot and get the ramen going. Just leave that to simmer for a minute. I'm using just the smallest carrots I've got out of the pack today. This is more to add a bit of crunch to it at the end. And then straight into cold water to stop it continuing to cook. Back to grating again. Just going to turn that down, let it simmer, because I'm just going to add one more thing. So tomorrow I'm going to have sardine sandwich. Use up some more of that bread, and I figured if I'm careful I can take the 2 bits of fish out and then take some of the sauce from the noodles. This is just going to make it easier to take it, get it out, mix that around. It's going to beef up the flavouring in the ramen. So the white of the egg kind of just fell apart, but I do have the runny yolk. Noodles with an improved sauce from the sardines in spicy tomato, runny boiled egg, some carrots for crunch, some sausage, some onion. That looks pretty good to me. Give this a quick taste review and then I'm going to sit down and enjoy it, get organised, have a shower and everything, and then we're going to make the sandwich for tomorrow and we're going to make the oatmeal soup, or at least try and consider making the oatmeal soup. Let's give this a go. That spicy tomato has really beefed up the flavour in the ramen liquid. The onions are softened and added their own flavour. Genuinely is a really nice bowl of ramen. Now I was worried when I bought that cheap ramen and I was like, oh, I've made a mistake here, but actually adding extra ingredients and thinking about it, I've really improved it. So yes, this is a really cheap pack of ramen noodles, but this is a really delicious meal with the enhancements added to it. Tomorrow's lunch is about as simple as it can get. I've just got some sardine sandwiches. Luckily I'm a big fan of sardines because I've got 2 lots of sandwich. Got to try and use some more of this bread up. I'll save you guys from having to watch me chop up another load of carrot and onion because that's all I've been chopping up this week. I've got a little bit of butter in the saucepan. We're going to add in the onion and some oats because we're making a oat soup. Plus we've got a stock cube, and we're going to add hot water into the slow cooker, and in there we're going to add the 4 sausages allocated for tomorrow, and the carrots, so 2 carrots chopped up, and then I'm just frying off the oats. I've never done this recipe before, I'm just winging it, but I've seen that you can make oat soup. Then we're going to add all the oats. This definitely is an experiment. Some curry powder. I sweat the onions down. Bit of the residual butter left in the pan, and some water. So this may or may not work, but that's the whole point of experimentation. Not to mention I did the carrots a bit bigger as well as the onions because I fancied a bit of a chunkier. I don't want it to be like a porridge, so I want the vegetables to be a bit more prominent. Also the sausages are in bigger chunks. So breakfast is going to be beans on toast. Use 3/4 of a tin. I'm going to save the rest to go with breakfast tomorrow because I think I'm going to have scrambled egg. So there we have breakfast on day 4. 3/4 of a tin of beans with some toast. I left my microphone at home, so I'll save you the poor sound quality. I've got the sardine sandwiches, so 2 sardine sandwiches, flapjack made from the other day, and banana for lunch. Not the most exciting lunch of the week. Right, let's take a look at this soup. I'm not having it with bread. I'm all breaded out for today. There's more than enough for lunch tomorrow. It smells quite nice. It smells a bit like carrot. For some reason, it smells like carrot and coriander soup. That might just be the carrot and the curry smell. Big bowl of soup. Gonna have some white pepper on there. Ever since I started filming World War II ration recipes on my channel, I've really taken to white pepper over ground. Just prefer the flavour and everything to it now. So it's not the most appetizing it's not the most appetizing looking soup. It smells nice. I imagine some might be put off by putting porridge oats in a soup, but here goes. That's unbelievable. That really is tasty. A really nice savoury flavour. Slight hint of curry, not too much. A really nice subtle curry flavour. So you'd have thought that the oats would have made it stodgy and like a kind of gloopy consistency, but I don't know if it's where we fried them off first, but they kind of kept separated. So it's a bit like when you have barley in your soup. I'm genuinely enjoying this, and I'm going to enjoy it for lunch tomorrow as well. I've had bread for breakfast and I've had it in my lunch. Today's lunch was probably my least favourite. Now I love sardines, but I kind of like them fresh on bits of buttery toast, or just out the can. I think where I put them in the sandwich and they were in my bag during the day, the bread went stodgy, the fish kind of went a bit sweaty and horrible, and the van stunk of fish afterwards as well. So that's probably going to be my least favourite lunch, but we can do like a conclusion at the end. We've got one more day tomorrow. Looking forward to breakfast tomorrow. Breakfast is going to be scrambled egg and beans on toast, and then soup for lunch, and then to finish with a bang, I'm going to make a sausage curry with the rice and the sausages and all the last of the carrots and onions, and then we'll sit down and do a big old conclusion. It's been a long week. One more day tomorrow. This morning is going to be egg on toast with beans. This morning we're going to use up the last of the 3 eggs, a little bit of butter, the remaining part of the baked beans. Final breakfast, so day 5, toast, scrambled eggs and baked beans. Last lunch, so day 5, lunchtime, leftover soup from last night, which was really nice, and a couple of bananas. Last dinner of the week, so we've got the last of the rice, just under half a packet there. Put some oil in the pan. We're going to chuck in some chunky, relatively chunky bits of onion and start to brown them off. Some thin carrot sticks. I'm going to chuck them in. I want them to be big enough to give them a bit of crunch and a bit of texture to the meal. Plus the sausages. I'm going to be honest and say I'm not going to actively have sausages again for a while after this week. I think I'm sausaged out. I'm going to add some garam masala, seeds and spice toppers, sesame seeds, cumin, turmeric and ginger for mild aromatic flavour and crunch. Some curry powder. Finally, we're going to add the rest of our yogurt. Stir that in with the sauce and we're going to let that simmer. So we got the rice plated up. I'm going to be totally honest and say this is looking like a fail. Yogurt's kind of separated. We'll give it a taste review anyway because it might taste delicious and just look a little bit odd. Not exactly how I planned it. Savoury rice with what's meant to be a sausage and veg curry. Guys, I'm still going to give this a taste review. It does not look very appetizing. It looks like curdled milk. Going to ease myself in with the rice. I do like that rice. That rice has got a really nice savoury taste to it. Could have just had rice for dinner. We'll try a bit of onion, carrot, sausage. It doesn't work. The yogurt's kind of gone all sour on it. It's giving it a soury, bitter taste. It's a shame because the onion and the carrot have still got a nice crunch to them and the sausages would have soaked up more of the curry flavour. I could have just put curry powder and some of the Indian spices in and just had it like a stir fry. The whole point of this challenge was to see if we could make £10 last. We've definitely made it last. Do this challenge again. A whole loaf of bread. I struggled. Personally, I struggled to use that much bread and eat that much bread. I don't often eat that much bread. I'm not really a bread kind of person. I do like the odd sandwich. I tend to have wraps and I tend to have like tuna or rice and salad boxes and stuff like that at work. Never used all of the porridge. Still got a fair amount of that 1 kilo of porridge left. Got a small amount of the jam. I still have an onion and I still have some of the flapjacks, which was too much. We can conclude that it's definitely possible and that you can make £10 stretch to 5 days. I'm thinking with a bit more careful plan, well, a bit of actual planning and a bit of more thought, we could probably make £10 last 7 days. If you want to see that, let me know in the comments, because I think I probably wouldn't get the porridge oats again and I probably wouldn't get the loaf of bread. I like the onions and the carrots. I can still think of more things to do with that. The sausages will probably have to be subbed out because I don't think I can do 7 days on sausages, or it'll have to be a while before I come back and do the challenge with them. Favourite meal? My favourite meal was the ramen. Unbelievably, yeah, it was the ramen. And I think that was because I put that kind of savoury fish flavour in with the tin sardine, tomato, spicy tomato and the egg. Eggs were great. I loved eggs all week. Yeah. So there's a few things to take away from that. I definitely think that 7 days is possible and it might be something I try going forwards if I get a good response to this challenge. A few things I'd switch out, a few things I wasn't too bothered about having. Don't think I hit 2,500 calories if I'm honest, and that's not because I didn't have enough to eat, it's because I just felt full the whole time. The bread just bloated me out and so did the oats. Didn't need any more food than what I had. I never went to bed hungry, and I woke up wanting breakfast but not starving. I hope that was interesting. I hope that opened up some ideas. It is just a bit of fun. It's just a challenge I set myself to see if it was possible. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, hit the sub button. Let me know in the comments if you want to see some more food challenges. Also, any ideas, any inspiration, any feedback would be fantastic. Check out all my other content. I do food reviews, I do MRE reviews. I even have an allotment where I'm doing grow your own veg. I might even do a challenge where I just live off of what I can grow in the allotment during summer. But I'll hopefully see you in a future video. Take care. Bye bye.